What's going on, everybody? 2026 March Madness is here. Let's figure out who we're going to pick. Do a 2026 NCAA bracket. Let's start it off with Duke versus Siena. I'm definitely obviously taking Duke. I'm going to go pretty quick here. Ohio State versus TCU. I like TCU in this matchup. St. John's over Northern Iowa. I filled out one bracket earlier, and it was pretty, nothing too special, but we'll just keep going here. Kansas. First episode of the day, I do like South Florida defeating Louisville. Michigan State, obviously, over North Dakota State. Well, not obviously. Go Bison. You never know. UCF over UCLA. UConn to defeat Furman. And I'm going to go back over at this upper right-hand side here, do the first round. Arizona. Villanova versus Utah State. I'm going to go with the 9 seed here. Wisconsin versus High Point. We'll go Wisconsin. Arkansas to defeat Hawaii. BYU versus the winner of the playing game. I like the way BYU looks this season. Go with them. Gonzaga to beat Kennesaw State. Miami to defeat Missouri. Purdue. Wow, did they look good versus Michigan in the Big Ten tournament. I'm going to pick Purdue to beat Queens. Going down here on the lower right-hand side, Michigan had a chance for a while to be the number 1 overall seed, and they kind of have struggled a little bit offensively, so we're obviously still going to pick them versus the 16 seed. But anyway, Michigan, we'll see what happens. Georgia versus St. Louis. I'm going to go with Georgia. Texas Tech versus Akron. Akron is the 12 seed I like here. Usually happens a couple every year to defeat Texas Tech. Alabama versus Hofstra. I'm still going to go with Alabama. Tennessee versus the winner of the play-in game of Miami, Ohio. Interestingly, they got the play-in game, only losing 1 game, I believe, on the season. But we're going to still pick Tennessee. Virginia to defeat Wright State. Kentucky to defeat Santa Clara. And Iowa State to defeat Tennessee State. Going back up to the upper left. I'm going to pick Duke to defeat TCU. I forgot it. Why did that not go through? Never mind. St. John's, I like to defeat Kansas. Michigan State, I'm not too much sold on, but I think they get the job done versus Southern Florida. And I like UConn to beat UCF. So that's second round games going down here. Well, I didn't do the first round. That's why. Okay. Florida, we'll go with first round here. Florida, Clemson, Vanderbilt to beat McNeese, Nebraska looking for their first ever, interestingly enough, tournament win. They have never won an NCAA tournament game. North Carolina to beat VCU, Illinois versus Penn. I like Illinois a lot this season. I'm going to pick them to advance. St. Mary's versus Texas A&M. I'm going to go with the 10 seed A&M, and then Houston to defeat that. I'm just going to stay down here so I don't get confused and muck this all up again. All right, Florida to defeat Clemson. I'm going to go with Florida. I'm going to pick Nebraska, even though Vanderbilt looked very good there. They lost in the SEC championship game to Arkansas, but I'm going to pick Nebraska to beat them. North Carolina versus Illinois, as I mentioned earlier. I like Illinois. And I'm going to go with, even though I think this is going to be a close game, I'm still going to pick Houston to win that one. Let's, go back up here. We did that side. Going to go over here now. Arizona defeat Utah State. I like Arkansas quite a bit. I'm going to pick them to beat Wisconsin. BYU versus Gonzaga. Very interesting. I'm going to go with BYU. And I'm going to go with Purdue to defeat Miami in that round. Michigan, I still like, even though, as I mentioned, they've struggled a little bit offensively. Akron, here we go. We got a 12 seed in the Sweet 16. We're going to go with Akron. Tennessee versus Virginia. I'm going Virginia. Kentucky versus Iowa State. Iowa State for a while was looking very good. Had potential to be a 1 seed. I know Virginia gave Duke a good run there in the ACC championship, but I'm still going to, anyway, go with that. Should I go back to that game? No, hold on here. Hold on. All right. Duke versus St. John's. I think it's going to be a good game, but I'm picking Duke. UConn versus Michigan State. I'm taking UConn. I'm going to go down. Florida versus Nebraska. I think Florida's just too much for the Cornhuskers. Let's see here. Why is this is being weird to me? Illinois versus Houston. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, I like Illinois. I'm going to pick Illinois to defeat that game. Going up here. I really, for some reason, want to pick Arkansas, but I'm going to chicken out. I'm going to pick Arizona to win that game there, and I'm going to pick Purdue to beat BYU. This isn't looking too much of upset city, but as we noted last year, all 4 1 seeds made the Final Four. We're not quite there yet in my bracket, but it's looking pretty chalky here. Akron's great run ends there in the Sweet 16 with a loss to Michigan. I like Iowa State. I'm going to have a tough time picking that game here in a second between Michigan and Iowa State. I'm just not liking the way Michigan's looking offensively. But let's go back up here and see who we like in the Final Four. To get to the Final Four, I should say, I'm taking Florida Gators to defeat Illinois. Going down here. Well, that's that. We got to go up. We got to go up. I like Duke to beat UConn. And in the other matchup here, I'm picking Purdue. I'm picking Purdue to stay hot coming off that Big Ten championship win against Michigan. I'm picking Purdue to make the Final Four. I'm just doing it. I don't know. They could lose in the flipping first round, but you never know. Going down here. Let's get a matchup going again here. No, I'm taking Iowa State. I'm going Iowa State. Michigan just makes me worry too much. So we got our Final Four of, it should be, why is this not registering here? There we go. There we go. Duke versus Florida. Purdue versus Iowa State. I'm picking Duke to defeat Florida. And I'm picking Purdue to defeat Iowa State. So we have a national championship game of Duke versus Purdue. And I think Duke is your 2026 college NCAA hoops champion. Thank you. Fuck you, San Diego.